Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the newest and freshest Mountaineer sports podcast out there. This is Ear to Ear Podcast with C-rey and Lanny Mo. I am C-rey. This lovely face on the other side of your screen is Lanny Mo, and we're just a new podcast coming together. Going to talk about Mountaineer sports predominantly. We see something out there in the sports world that catches our attention. We might touch on it, get some fact and opinion. Might make some enemies, might make some friends, but that's what we're here for, right, Lanny?
100%. Number one thing is we are not affiliated with WVU, MSN, none of the other anything. We're just two guys in our man caves, giving our opinion. Sometimes you might agree, sometimes you're not. We're fine with that. It's just anything that piques your interest. Like, comment, subscribe, and if something hurts your feelings, you can turn us off. It's completely fine. We're not soft, no way, shape, or form. Just two idiots. Let's go Mountaineers.
That's it, Lanny. That's it. I'm excited for this. I think we don't know how many people's going to see this. There might only be 5 of you watching this, but if there is 5 of you watching this and you all 5 enjoyed it, then we kind of accomplished what we set out to do. So with that, let's get into our first episode. Lanny, I hate to start our podcast and start our very first episode with a loss, but unfortunately that was the result that came from our meeting with Oklahoma State this past Saturday. West Virginia fell to 4-3. Let's do some reflection here. Give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think about what we saw this past weekend playing the Pokes.
That was a tough one. To begin with, dug a hole 10-0. And every time that you think that here we go, crucial error, whether it was from the sideline or on the field. I know it. We all know it, that they're college kids playing the game that they love. They're not going out there trying to disappoint in no way, shape, or form. But it's one of those, we did not get a good bounce our way. We've been very fortunate, to start off 4-1, and then the Houston thing. And then the biggest fear happened that I feared myself, that the letdown. And we started slow and just could not grind like we have. And
right.
That's where I was at with it.
I think something that has really caught my attention and that I've seen change since our 4-1 start. It's like after bye week, I've seen a lot of undisciplined football, right? Just taken from the Oklahoma State game this past weekend, Beanie Bishop had that face mask. We had some offsides, we had some false starts, the late hit out of bounds by Cutter. These are things that we really didn't see a whole lot of there in the 4-1 start, which kind of made me think that maybe we were finally getting to that disciplined place where we're going to play clean football. And it seems like after the bye week, that's kind of went out the window.
Very good teams can get away with that. Average teams just can't. You can't come back from a block in the back on, when you pick up a first down, a holding, a flinch on 3rd and 1, and that's what happened a lot to us last. It's just, I was just, my biggest fear again was like this snowballing into more and more and more. Next thing you know, here comes a debacle of a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah. And, specifically, when you look at the Houston game, and a lot of people want to blame Garrett Green. First off, I want to give a shout out to Garrett Green on his last 2 games. Anybody that knows me personally knows I haven't been the biggest Green fan this year. But the last 2 games, man, he's 35 of 68, which isn't a terribly high percentage, just a little over 50, but he has 640 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, one of which is not his fault. So, he's really kind of stepped into, I don't know, a D1 level now in the last 2 games. And the thing that kills me about that is I find it weird that the last 2 games he has finally stepped up and really playing like we've all wanted to see him play, but now the defense has kind of crumbled. Earlier in the year, we're averaging 19 points a game outside of Duquesne, and I'm thinking, hey, the defense is playing really well. If the offense can't start scoring a little more, how sustainable is this? Well, the offense starts scoring, and now the defense is giving up 30 points a game, and I think that hurts.
Well, it's one of those things that I see is they're not as one dimensional. Before it was just run, pound, pound. You had CJ doing his thing. You had Anderson coming in doing his thing. And I mean, I want to see White 22. That's my dude. I think that boy gets down
Yeah.
and just I don't know exactly what's keeping him off the field in situations, but they're almost to the point of being very one dimensional at one time in this year.
Right.
So now, but with Green, the kid's 5'10". I mean, let's be honest. I think he has trouble seeing downfield. So they got to move the pocket, which is fine because then tuck and run, kid. And I caught myself 4 times going, go, 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 go. And then next thing he throws it. I go from no to, first down.
So no to go, right? It's
because I'm saying just get your yards and get out of bounds before you get decapitated. And it's just one of those things where Green at one time, no way was he my guy. And, I'm Nico. I'm still Nico, but
right.
I know where we'd be if we were even in the ball games with Houston and this last week. We're in a 7-point ball game with 3 minutes left and people are rolling out. I don't understand that. That's a whole other subject, but it's raining and people, and yes, we had a chance, the onside kick, whatever, but go ahead to that. Yeah.
Well, the special teams thing, honestly, to me, where this game kind of started falling apart was when Wilson Lamp kind of chucked our return man on that punt, right? I mean, immediately after that happened, I got a notification on my phone from ESPN. West Virginia player trucks his own return guy. I'm like, oh, that, I'm sitting there in the stands looking at my phone like, yeah, great. That to me was the big shift in the game. They score on that. We're sitting here thinking, okay, we've got to get back down there and score. And then Ollie Gordon just in the fourth quarter. I don't know what he figured out in the fourth quarter that he couldn't figure out the rest of the game.
He took a shot of oxygen and 1,500 cc's of roids, and that boy went dark in the fourth.
The dude had 282 yards. Okay, since Iowa State, he was averaging, I think, 141 from Iowa State, Kansas, and Kansas State, or Kansas State and Kansas, whichever order they played him in. 141 those last 3 games. He had 282 against us, 150 of which came in the fourth quarter alone, with I think 3 touchdowns. And I'm like, we had him at 86. We had him at 86 yards before the half.
Scored 6 minutes ago again. I mean, he was literally unstoppable, and I truly think the whole onside kick came down to he was scared to death. Neil Brown was scared to death. No faith in the defense at all.
Bingo.
He thought that he had to go onside with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left, and to roll the dice at that point in the game. 3 timeouts left. I just think me personally never coached a game in my life, never will. I'm telling my kicker, pick a number of one of the guys across from you, and you drill him in the chest at 120. Kick. I want you to kick the ball as hard as you can into his chest at that point, rather than some flip-flop, onside kick.
Well, and the worst part about the onside kick was it kind of seemed like the guys didn't really know what to do. There was nobody in the area of the ball.
They ran 125 yards before the kick happened from one side to the other.
Yeah.
The one guy, he's out there like tapping his head like, I need a sub before the onside kick because he done ran across the field 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I think there in the fourth quarter just really fell apart. And what else do you say beside that? There's a lot of credit to go to Oklahoma State. Gundy knows what he's doing. The one thing Neil Brown did say in his press conference earlier this past week that I agreed with was Gundy's done it a lot of different ways. and he's found success in a lot of different avenues. And he found it in the fourth quarter against us, and his name was Ollie Gordon. I just can't get over that. I can't get over the guy having 150 yards in one quarter with 3 touchdowns, most of which came in the last 3 minutes of the game.
Well, they knew who was going to get the ball. The West Virginia defense knew. And at that point, you stack the box like we did. It's one cut, one miss, and it's racetrack. And nobody's catching him. And it happened twice.
Yep. Twice. Back to back drives.
Yeah. Back to back. The on the second one, it was like a video game. He got down to the 4-yard line and started running horizontal. And he's like, I'm like, you're not wasting any time.
Right.
But I mean, you sold out, you got beat. And you hear the thing of they were worn down. No, he carried the ball 29 times. He got hit. Well, we can't count them all, but 26 of them, he got hit on.
Right.
So it wasn't the same guy that beat on him. So, but that guy there is an absolute stud, and I hope he leaves after this year because I don't want to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing about people say, well, our defense is gassed. Well, it's easy for us to win a time of possession when those guys are scoring as quick as they are. But, the defense wasn't on the field as long as their defense was. And, we're coming off of, a couple weeks off of a bye week. It's just, I don't know. It seems like that's not really a valid excuse for why all of a sudden the defense that was doing really well before the bye week all of a sudden has kind of disappeared since the bye week. And I don't know. Maybe it's a difference. Maybe it's just a difference of athletes now. I hate to go back to the Houston game and try to relive any of that, but it seemed to me our defense lined up against their receivers, and it seemed like their receivers were just flat out better athletes from the get-go. And you throw on top of that, we're always playing 15 yards off the guys because we're scared of getting beat, and it leaves that pocket there for those guys to catch the ball constantly. And
I would rather see our guys engage 2 yards downfield than them to go effortlessly into their route.
Right. Yeah.
To throw some rhythm. I would rather see our guys back at his numbers trying to chase a wide receiver as the ball's coming. And at least I know then he got beat. Instead, there's a difference between getting beat and giving room.
Right. And we're giving room right now every single time the ball is snapped.
Yeah. And I mean, it's obvious that, there's times their wide receiver, whoever we play, it's catch and turn, and he's flinched before the contacts even happen because he's thinking that somebody's going to be there, and our guy's just not there.
Yeah. Yep. Oh. Well, it's unfortunate, but let's switch gears here. Let's try to see if we can look to the future, see if we can find a bright spot of whatever's coming our way. So we have UCF next week, right? Me personally, I don't know how to feel about it. At the beginning of the year, I would have said UCF was a for sure win. The thing that has me now with our current state of our team is I look at the rest of the schedule, and outside of Oklahoma, I could see us winning every game left on the schedule. I could see us losing every game left on the schedule. I could see us losing every game left on the schedule in the fourth quarter by 1 score because, for Neil Brown, it's if I get up 10 points, if I get up 7 or 10 points, I'm good and I can coast with that. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I'm not getting paid millions of dollars to make those decisions. But as far as UCF goes, we're statistically, we're relatively even. But they have a slight edge on most categories. I mean, you look at points per game, it's 29-33 in favor of them. Total touchdowns, 30-26 in favor of them. Third down, efficiency, 32-35% in favor of them. They have us by, I think, 400 passing yards on the year, almost 300 rushing yards. And it's like we're right there just behind them, but they have the edge on pretty much any category you look at. And you take into consideration how they played against Oklahoma this past week. What do you think about UCF going into that game? What do you think? And this is the big question. We started out 4-1. Since the bye week, we're 0-2. What's the perception of going to Florida and losing to UCF, who has 0 conference wins?
That's what we do, though. We are notorious for giving somebody their first win of the year, their first win of the season, their first win ever in the conference. That's what we do. And UCF is they're just another juggernaut as far as you don't know what you're going to get out of them from week to week. They'll go out and get beat by somebody that they should have beat. And next thing you know, they'll play lights out against somebody that's favored by 20 points on them. And
Oklahoma.
yeah, gave Oklahoma the number, whatever they are, 4,
6,
5, 7.
6, I think, when they played them.
Yeah. But they gave them everything. I mean, Oklahoma is lucky to get out of that game with a win.
Quite literally gave them everything down to the last play of the game. They lost on a failed 2-point conversion to force overtime. I mean, what's that do to Oklahoma? How's that affect Oklahoma if the only team in the conference that hasn't got a conference win yet this year? I'm not sure. Somebody correct me on that in the comments if I'm wrong on that, but I think they are. Oklahoma can't handle that loss. That kills them. That takes them from number 6, probably outside the top 10. So that pretty much disappears the Big 12's chances of playoff contention, minus maybe Texas. But I'm betting Texas is going to lose a game to somebody they shouldn't before the end of the year. For me, I look at UCF and I kind of like you said, it's almost like watching us. You don't know which team's going to show up.
You truly don't.
So, and that kills me. You don't know what team's getting off the bus for us. Let alone them.
And we historically just do not travel well. As a team, it's I don't know what to expect. It's our run game is very, very. They're dire right now. I mean, there's no burst. There's no. You just don't. I can't tell you the last time. When's the last time we broke off a 25-yard, run? It just seems like either the hole is open and it closes, or, or there is no hole. And I don't want to, I don't want Garrett Green to make him. He made the comment like, I do, I think I'm Superman sometimes, and it gets me in trouble. Well, it's I don't want you to have to think that you have to make every play, kid. The wide receivers have to, get separation. You got to deliver a ball, and our running backs have to keep teams honest. I mean,
I think one of the things to me this year that has been I don't know if I'd say a disappointment, because we do have a good and strong running game, but it seems to me that most of the time our quarterback is our best running back. And I know that's his strength. That's the big thing is he's got wheels. He keeps plays alive with his feet, which he does. He does it very well. It is his bread and butter. And I'm very happy that he's come along into the last 2 games, slinging the ball really well. I mean, those 2 touchdown passes he had against Oklahoma State were things of beauty.
Yeah.
I mean, that 45-yard bomb was just, it was perfect. It was perfect.
Well, he caught a guy peeking in the backfield because his legs created that. He took off on a sprint out to his left, and, the corner snuck up, and, Carter got behind and threw it. I was just happy he threw a ball and said, go get it.
Yeah.
Carter ran right under that thing.
He put it in a perfect spot. He put it in a great spot where he caught it and just continued into the end zone. And it was great to see.
And the dime that he dropped to Holden, was it Holton? Holden.
Holton. I think so. Yeah.
We're going with 13. Number 1 in people's hearts, 13 on his back. And but he threw that thing toward the goalpost and said, and it was absolute perfect.
He put it to where if anybody was going to catch the ball, it was going to be our receiver, not the defender.
It was very Greer-esque.
Very Greer-esque. Boy, those were the days. Dropping dimes, baby. Dropping dimes.
I mean, he can throw. He's capable of throwing a good ball, but like Brown said, he misses layups.
Well, and I think a lot of that has to do with his height. I mean, you look at, I noticed in a huddle this past weekend, I'm sitting there in the stands and I'm watching him in a huddle, and I realized that, holy crap, like he's 1 ton shorter than the rest of the linemen. And it's like, we hear it and we know it, but until you see him standing on the field around those guys, it's like, yeah, okay, now I can see why he doesn't hit the layups. He can't see the layups to hit them.
Well, I'm born and raised in Morgantown, live in Morgantown, and I saw him at the local golf course here, and he was golfing with Zach Frazier, and I myself 6'2", 305, and Garrett Green is 5'10".
Did you take any money from him on the golf course?
He didn't want none of this.
Y'all got to watch Lanny Mo. If you ever come across him on the golf course, he'll take your money.
No. I'm telling you what, though, Zach Frazier, the boy is legit.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, murders a golf ball.
I guarantee it. As big as he is, I bet he doesn't even have to put anything into his swing, and that ball goes 300 yards.
When he got done with the round, the golf ball just said list on it. He knocked the title off of it.
Yeah. I don't doubt that. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah. But going back to where we were, he just can't. He can't see downfield. And I think it hurts him RPO whenever he, the run pass option. And on that 4th down call.
4th and 2, yeah.
Yeah. He should, even Neil said, I think he should have gave it. And it's one of them things where he just could not see
to give it.
And it was, I'm going to take this on my own. And he didn't get it. I mean, the kid didn't get it. I like the effort, but you didn't do it. You did not get accomplished.
Right.
And
man,
I was screaming, punt it away at that point and play defense.
Punt it away.
But we couldn't play we couldn't play defense at all. But UCF, as far as with them, it's I have no idea what to expect. Neil Brown's going to be in his glory because I do believe we're going to be in a 7-point ball game in the middle of the 4th quarter. That's a stat that I wish somebody could look it up and enlighten us on. How many games in Neil Brown's tenure has WVU had the lead in the 4th quarter or been within 1 score of tying it in the 4th quarter? Man, that's where we live at. I mean, I think his little honey hole, he likes being in the 4th quarter in a 3-point, 7-point ball game. Either they're up or we're down. And because he can openly say, we had a chance to win. We were right there.
It's almost like a built-in excuse in a way. It's kind of like we were right there. We had it, and it was snatched from us at the last minute. I hate going back to the Houston game. That's a prime example, though. Like, hey, in the first half, we got up a score, 10 points. All right, let's put it down on the ground ball and let's play ground ball and try to run out the clock and everything. And then he turns it back on when somebody scores, and then all of a sudden we're either down or only up by 3 points or so. It's like, all right, now we got to turn it back on and play. And to me personally, not a coach, right? No, I'm not getting paid millions of dollars to make these decisions, but it almost seems like that's G5 thinking. That might work in the G5 where you can get up 10 points and play ground ball the rest of the game, and you might squeak that win out by 3 or 7 points. But that doesn't work in Big 12 when you're playing Texas, you're playing Oklahoma State, TCU, other Power 5 schools that are Power 5 for a reason. So for me personally, looking ahead to UCF, as far as a prediction goes, I hate to give it to the home team, but considering how we're relatively even in statistics, but it seems like they edge us out on everything, I'm going with UCF on it 31-28. I do think it's going to be a 4th quarter game. I think it's going to be one of those things where we're going to be able to look at this on our next episode and say, well, 4th quarter rolled around and we did what we do.
Early thought on it. I'm just going to call it West Virginia win. I'm calling it now. West Virginia win 34-28, 34-31. we get redemption.
Okay.
Our defense actually makes a stop with 40 seconds left in the game, and we get on the plane and head on back to Pittsburgh and bust it on down to Clarksburg, wherever they fly into. I'm really not sure. Yeah.
All right.
I'm predicting a win.
Well, you know what? We're kind of getting ready to wrap it up here. So, Lanny, let me ask you a question. For me, something elsewhere in the Big 12 that really kind of caught my attention this weekend. Did you see the spot that the refs gave Houston against Texas?
No, I did not.
You ought to go back on YouTube and find this, man. It's like one of the last plays of the game. It's pretty much do or die for Holge and the Cougs, and I mean they spotted that ball like this far back from where it should have been. I mean it was glaringly obvious that it should have been a first. It should have been a first down,
Well,
and they kind of put the screws to him. And I think, not saying this for sure, but with it being Texas and that's kind of they're on their way out, and one of our last chances to get into the playoffs. We're gonna, maybe a little bit of cooking there.
Well, it's one of the things where that is a job that they can miss. You can miss a call, and the only thing you're going to get from the league is, sorry about that. Sorry about that one.
Sorry, man, my bad. Yeah,
it is. I mean, it truly is. Like, yeah, we reviewed it. 24 hours later. Sorry.
Yep, I think so. Yep. All right. Well, hey, this has been the inaugural episode of Ear to Ear Podcast. You guys out there listening, however many of you there are, 1, 10, 15, don't really think there's going to be much more than that. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope to see you next week. We're probably shooting for Wednesdays. We'll put this out on Wednesday mornings, and we hope we get some of you guys listening.
We're planning on a weekly thing. Sometimes it might be 15 minutes. Sometimes it might be half hour. Throw us in on the car. Hit pause, listen to us later. Tell your friends, tell your coworkers, or don't tell anybody and just act like we don't exist. Honestly, we are doing this for our own little enjoyment, and hopefully, something we entertain a little bit anyway. Brutally honest, we are very, very vanilla at this point going in. Just letting you know, there will be times where I'll, mostly me, C-Ray will say, this is the point to where you might want to, hit pause, put earmuffs on the kids because it's about to get real. And take us off speaker if you're at work. And but the biggest thing is it's just fun. And hopefully you enjoy it, because this is something we've been wanting to do for a while, and we're going to get if anything we'll enjoy it, because me and this guy here could talk for hours.
Oh yeah. Yep. So we're just going to take our normal thoughts and break it up over the week.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you everybody for listening. We'll catch you guys next Wednesday. Everybody have a good week.